Hey guys, Smail here for another video on how to make money with AI. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can get yourself a $4,500 AI voice appointment setter using Vapi. Listen to this.
Hello there, this is Sophia from the agency. How can I help you?
Hey there, Sophia. I'm actually interested in your services. Is there a way for me to book a meeting?
Of course. I can definitely help you with that. Would you like to book a meeting to discuss our services in detail?
Yeah, for sure. I would love to.
This'll just take a sec. Thank you for waiting. Here are the available time slots. Tomorrow, September 28th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. September 29th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. September 30th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Please let me know which one works best for you.
Okay, can you book a meeting for the 28th of September at 3 p.m. please?
Absolutely. Could you please provide your name and email address for the appointment?
Sure, so my name is Ali and the email address is i6204837@gmail.com.
One moment. Wonderful. Your appointment for September 28th at 3 p.m. has been successfully booked. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you, bye-bye. I used Python to do that just because it was easier for me than using mail.com. But don't worry about it. Even if you have zero experience in coding, I made it super easy to follow along. So just follow the steps that I will be showing you and you will have your very own AI voice appointment setter. And also very important, I'll upload the code on my Discord server so you'll be able to download it and use it. Before we get started, let's discuss a bit what this bot will do exactly. You'll be able to call an AI agent via Vapi's dashboard and this bot will schedule appointments for you. And in addition to that, I will do something extra that I did not see in any other YouTube videos concerning appointment setting. This bot will reschedule appointments to different time slots as well as cancel them. Okay, the first thing that you want to do is to go and open vapi.ai. And if you haven't created your account yet, just go and click on dashboard and create your account. It will be super easy. Once you are in your dashboard, just click on create assistant. Here, just name it whatever you want and select the blank template option. And then here, click on create assistant. Here for the first message, just type whatever you want. Here I wrote, hello there, this is Sophia from the agency. How can I help you? Now one of the most important part of this assistant is the prompt. First I set context. So here I wrote, you are Sophia, a polite and professional voice assistant for the agency, a social media marketing agency. And then I keep writing some more context. But the most important part of the prompt is to divide it into the parts related to the function calling. Meaning those functions that you can see here, we will be calling them during the call so that it can either check the availability in our Google Calendar, book a meeting, reschedule an existing meeting, or even cancel a meeting. And don't worry guys about this prompt, it will be in my Discord, so you will have just to copy and paste it. And sometimes for the prompt, when I see that the assistant has a hard time, following the instructions, I make sure that I add some examples of conversation snippets. For example, many times during calls, the assistant, after understanding that the person wants to book a meeting, it should say, yeah, please wait a few moments while I check the availability. And most of the time, it just says, it will just take a moment. Or, it doesn't say explicitly that it will check availability. Right before, calling the function, check availability that you can see here. And once I noticed that, I made sure to add this conversation snippet just to help the assistant say exactly what I want her to say. Another important part within the prompt is that you should write exactly the function names that we will be creating later on. So here, for example, I have the tool. I mean, right now it's called the tools in Vapi, because before it was called functions. So here we have the tool check availability, reschedule meeting, book a meeting, or cancel meeting. And every time we want to use a tool and we want to pass some parameters to that tool, we should make sure that the variable names of those parameters are exactly written the way you define them within your tools in Vapi. So here I make sure that I write them exactly as they are. Now for the LLM that I used GPT-4o. I noticed that it yields satisfying results, so I stuck with it. So the transcriber part is actually the AI model that is responsible for converting audio signals, so your voice, into text. And the one I'm using is here DeepGram as a provider, language English of course, and for the model I used Nova 2. Here for the voice tab, it's actually the AI model that converts the text into audio signal. And for this, generally 11 Labs is a very good AI model. Now we'll go to the tools tab, so that we'll be creating them basically. So you click here, and then here you will click on new tool. Just keep it as a custom tool, and here for the server URL, just write a dummy URL, because right now at this moment we don't need, it's not important. So here I just wrote, test.com as a URL. And then here for the properties, it depends. Some tools will use properties and some others will not. I will show you how it works exactly. So the first tool that I have is called check_availability. The goal of this tool is to basically check for the next 7 days what are some available slots for booking. And here for the property, you notice that I actually did not use any property because we don't need it. We just need to call a function that will get the available slots. And this is not the case for many other YouTubers that I've seen. On those YouTube videos, the caller would say to the bot, hey, I would love to book a meeting on the 28th of September. Is that possible? And then the bot will check whether that slot is available or not. And in that case, you will need the attributes, you will need the date basically, and that's it. But I think in my opinion that this is not really realistic, because once you call an office, for example, you don't get to choose when to meet the business owner. Normally they will check their availability, then they will propose you some available slots, and then you will get to choose. So following that logic, I just decided to create this tool without using any input. For the integration tab, we'll be using a special URL, but I will explain to you later on what this URL will be basically. The second tool that we have is called Book Meeting. So you should create another tool, a second tool with this name. And of course for the tool description, just write whatever you want. It actually doesn't affect how it will be called during the conversation. This tool will make the actual booking on our calendar. And it needs 3 properties. The first one, I called it just date, which is basically the date and time when we will be booking the meeting, the name of the caller, and his or her email. Our third tool is called reschedule meeting. And here, if you want to reschedule a meeting, first you want to make sure that the caller has indeed an already booked meeting, right? And you also want to know the new dates when he would like to book this new meeting. So a way to identify the caller is via his booked date and booked email. And of course, if there is no match with the upcoming bookings, of course it will say something like, sorry, we didn't find anything that corresponds to this date, or anything that corresponds to this email, right? And of course we need the new dates for the new booking. And finally, our fourth and last tool is called cancel meeting. And here we just need to identify, it's almost like rescheduling, because basically rescheduling, what we will be doing is canceling a meeting and then booking a new one. So here for canceling, we just need to make sure that we have identified, the caller as an upcoming meeting. And then once we have identified that meeting, we just cancel it. That's why here the properties used are booked date to cancel and booked email to cancel. Here, going back to our assistant, you will click on functions, and then here you will make sure that you check all those 4 tools that we just created. Okay, now at this point, don't bother about advanced and analysis tabs. They don't matter actually at this point. To schedule meetings, many businesses rely on Calendly because it's very practical. You choose your available time slots and then you send your Calendly link. Well, it turns out Calendly is not adapted for automation. The reason is that there is simply no API endpoint for booking a meeting. By the way, this tutorial will be for businesses who synchronized their scheduler with Google Calendar. I will show you now a table that compares the APIs for Google Calendar, cal.com and Calendly. Here our first question is, can you book a meeting via the API? And for Calendly, as I just said, this is simply not possible. However, for both cal.com and Google Calendar, this is definitely possible. Here our second question is, can you get busy times scheduled via Google Calendar? And this means that for both Calendly and cal.com, can you get busy times scheduled from an outside organization? And here it will be Google Calendar. For Calendly, this is definitely possible, so you can get all the events scheduled even from Google Calendar. For cal.com, that is not possible, and for Google Calendar, obviously this is possible. Now the third thing that we want to know is the API easy to use, basically. For both Calendly and cal.com, yes, it is very easy to use. I mean, you just need your API key. The endpoints are very clearly explained and so on. For Google Calendar, even though you have a very good documentation and clearly explained endpoints, it is overall not easy to use because of the permissions that you need. Usually, whenever you want to use an API with the Google ecosystem, you need to create a Google Cloud project and then activate the APIs and so on. And most of the time those permissions expire. So you need every time to renew them, which means at the end of the day, it is not very practical to use. So what this table means is that we'll basically use both Calendly and cal.com APIs for this appointment setter AI. The reason is that we'll be using those 2 APIs for getting the availability, because Calendly allows us to get even the event scheduled via Google Calendar. However, for booking a meeting, rescheduling a meeting, as well as canceling a meeting, we'll use cal.com API. Here in Calendly, after you log in, the way to get your API key, you first click on Integration and Apps. And here all the way on the bottom, you click on API and Connectors. And here API and webhooks. You can see that I already have an API key, but for you, in order to create a new one, just click on Generate New Token. Here just name it the way you want and then click on Create Token. Okay, so in my case I needed a verification code. This might not be your case, but if needed, just go and put it here. Okay, so once it is done, your API key will appear here. Of course, it is hidden. Just copy it and save it somewhere where you will easily retrieve it. Because as you've seen here, once you open this window again, there will be no way for you to view the API key again. So just copy it using this button and save it somewhere. Now I'll show you how to access your API key for cal.com. So once you created your account and you logged in, you will just click here on your profile, and then you will click on My Profile, and here on the left click on API Keys. You can see that I also already have an API key for cal.com called Appointment Setter Vapi. Now to create your own, just click on Add. Here name it whatever you want. And here set also the expiration date. Feel free to set whatever duration you want. Okay, so now once it is done, just like we did with Calendly, just copy this API key and save it somewhere. We'll need it later on. Now we will need something called ngrok. The reason we need it is that we'll be doing exactly what a webhook in Make.com does. But instead of using Make.com servers, we'll be using your own computer as a temporary server. If you have followed a previous tutorial of mine to install Retail AI, another AI voice API, then you already have ngrok in your computer. If it is not the case, just Google download ngrok and then click on the first link. Now if you are on Mac, follow those instructions that you can see here, and on Windows just download the zip file and then double click on it to install it. Now the next thing that you want to do is to create an ngrok account, and then here you click on your auth token. You will copy it. This is actually your auth token, and then in the terminal or your command line if you are on Windows, just write this command ngrok config add auth token and then paste your auth token here. Once you press enter, your ngrok should be well configured. So as I've told you, the code that I prepared runs on Python. It means that you will have to install Python. Now I don't want to go through showing you how to do it. There are plenty of tutorials on how to do it on YouTube. Make sure you install the latest Python version. Now after you installed Python on your computer, we need to install the required Python libraries to make it work. So those are contained inside this file, requirements.txt. Now a way to do that is to right click here and then to click on open in terminal. This will open your command line, with the right path where your files are located. And then you will write this command pip install -r requirements.txt. And then once you press enter, it will install all the required Python libraries basically. Now once you will download my files via my Discord server on the resource channel, you will see 3 files. The first one is .env, where we'll be storing some important variables. The second one is called server appointment setter vapi.py, and the last one is my Calendly user. Let's start with the .env file. Here we have the parts for your OpenAI API key. Here we have information related to Calendly. Here this is for call.com, and here this variable is also important. This is your current user time zone, meaning the time zone where you operate your business. For the OpenAI API key, just write your own instead of mine. For the Calendly URI user, I will explain to you later on how to get it. For now, just ignore it. And then for the Calendly token, you will just copy and paste the one that you obtained earlier. And the same thing for the call.com, API key. And for the user time, so since I'm right now in Marrakesh, so I put here Africa/Casablanca, which is the same time zone as Marrakesh. But here I wrote some other ones. So for example, if you are in Eastern time, just comment this line by writing this hash here and then delete this hash here, and this will be active. So now moving on to the Calendly URI user, I prepared for you a code that is here that you will just open and then you will run it. Here it will print out my Calendly URI user is, and then you will copy what looks like a link. You will just copy it and then you'll paste it here instead of mine. Now the most important file that is needed is this one, server appointment setter vapi.py, and this is the code that is responsible for booking appointment, cancelling them, getting availability, rescheduling, checking some logic, and also converting time zones. So this is actually what you need. So I will not go over all the code because I don't want to bore you. I think I will go over only the most important parts in my opinion. First we have this function, convert date time zone. This function is actually super important because we want to make sure that every time we either book a meeting or we check availability, the time zone used is good. Because actually when we get available time slots, whether it is from Calendly or from call.com, both time slots are in UTC. and we need to convert, this UTC time into the right user time, basically. And you can actually see it from those lines, 81 and 82. That's we are here converting a time zone from UTC to the right user time zone, basically. This function here is used to get the busy times from Calendly, and as we explained before, it will not only get your current Calendly booked meetings, but also, and more importantly, the booked meetings via Google Calendar, which is very important. We don't want to miss them. This function does the same, but for call.com. Unfortunately, this one does not get Google Calendar events, but it's okay. Here we have the function get combined sorted busy times, where we get the busy times from both call.com and Calendly. We combine them, sort them, and also return the result. Now the first endpoint that we'll be using in our Vapi tool will be check availability. You can consider this endpoint as a Make.com webhook. It is exactly the same thing. And actually, two more details that I forgot to mention is when we get the busy times for both call.com and Calendly, we actually get the busy times for the upcoming week. That's why you see here days equals 7, where basically we add 7 days to the current day. An important detail once we start working with call.com API is that when we start getting the upcoming events with call.com, we will get all of them, including the ones with refusal or denied and so on. So we want to get only the ones that have a status accepted. Going back to our check availability endpoint, you see here that we have a prompt. Basically, what we'll be doing with OpenAI is that we will give it a list of dates where we have scheduled events. So those are, our scheduled events for both Calendly and call.com. And we are injecting some extra information for OpenAI. We will, for example, give the working hours that are from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Every day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We will also, make sure that the agent is aware of the current time. As you can see here, I actually added some variables. I also added some extra constraints. I wrote here, important, if there are more than 3 days with available time slots, you should output only the first 3 days and exclude the rest of the days. Just to avoid, the scenario where the agent will start, enumerating and listing all the days, and which seems too long. So that's why I added this line here in the prompt. Here for the book appointment endpoint, this is the endpoint that actually makes the booking on call.com. While working with the code, I realized one practical thing. Actually, with call.com API, you cannot just reschedule, a meeting by just changing the date and time. What you need to do is to first cancel, the current meeting and then set a new one. So that's how rescheduling works, basically. Another thing is that this reschedule appointment function had to have a lot of logic, because first we want to identify whether the person we're talking to has indeed a scheduled appointment, because we don't want to let a stranger, reschedule the meeting of someone else. So we have to include some identification algorithm, where we want to compare, the booked date time as well as the booked email with the current upcoming ones, basically. And for example, if there is a mismatch in terms of email, we will output this response. Sorry, we didn't find any booking with this email. And if we don't find anything with the time slot, we will output, sorry, we didn't find any booking at this slot. Now I will show you how to run everything. First, you will open your command line and you will write this. ngrok http 8080, you press enter. Something like this should appear. Now you just don't touch it. Now you open again another terminal where your files are located. and you will write this. Don't worry, I will put this command because it's a bit long, and you will just paste it here. So the command is uvcorn server appointment setter Vapi, and then app, then dash dash reload dash dash port equal 8080, and then you hit enter. Then go back to the command line where you wrote the ngrok command, and then copy this URL. Now you should go back to Vapi and then click on tools. Then we should now link, our tools to the server that is running. For the server URL, you should paste, the ngrok URL that you just copied. And then here you write /check availability, like we just saw in my code. And then for some reason, you cannot click on save here, but don't worry, just click here, and then you will be able to click on save. Then we'll do the same for the 3 other tools. So as a summary for the tool cancel meeting, it should be that ngrok URL /cancel appointment. For the reschedule meeting, it should be the URL /reschedule appointment. And for the tool book meeting, it should be the URL /book appointment. Guys, a very important detail is that once you will close this window, for example, if you turn off your computer or something, and you have to do the ngrok http 8080 again, this URL will change. What does it mean? It means that here you will have to change this URL again. Now we'll be doing the 3 operations, meaning in a first call, I will book a meeting during the call. In a second call, I will reschedule that meeting, and the third call will be used to cancel it. Okay, so let's start with the first call. Actually, this demo is done on the 4th of October, and it's actually 6:26 p.m. here.
Hello there, this is Sophia from the agency. How can I help you?
Hey there, I'm actually in need of marketing services, and I was wondering if it's possible, to book a meeting just to discuss further what kind of services you can do for me.
Hold on a sec. Sorry about that. Here are the available time slots. October 5th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. October 6th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. October 7th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Could you please let me know which slot works best for you?
Yeah, sure. Can you please book it for tomorrow, the 5th October at 3 p.m., please?
Sure. Can I have your name and email, please?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Ali, and my email is i6204837@gmail.com.
Hold on a sec. Thank you, Ali. Your appointment has been successfully booked for October 5th at 3 p.m. If you need any further assistance, please feel free to reach out. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay, so this worked actually quite well. Let's try to reschedule it for the same day, but 1 hour after that.
Hello there, this is Sophia from the agency. How can I help you?
Hey there, Sophia. I actually booked a meeting earlier and I would like to reschedule it. Is it possible?
Certainly. To assist you with rescheduling, I will need the date and time of your current booked appointment, the email you used to book it, and the date and time of the new appointment you would like. Could you please provide me with that information?
Yeah, sure. So the booked date and time that I used is the 5th of October at 3 p.m. I would like to reschedule it for the same day, however, for 4 p.m. And the email that I used is i6204837@gmail.com.
Hold on a sec. Your appointment has been successfully rescheduled to October 5th at 4 p.m. If there's anything else you need, feel free to let me know. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay, great, it has worked. Now let's cancel it.
Hello there, this is Sophia from the agency. How can I help you?
Hey there, Sophia. Actually, I have an upcoming meeting that is scheduled, but I realize that I will be in holidays. So, can you please just cancel it for now?
Of course. To cancel your appointment, I'll need the date and time of the booked appointment and the email you used. Could you please provide me with this information?
Okay, sure. So, my upcoming meeting is planned for the 5th of October at 4 p.m. And the email that I used is i6204837 at gmail.com.
One moment. Your appointment has been successfully canceled. If you need anything else, feel free to ask. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Alright, thank you so much. Bye bye. Okay, great. You can see that the three scenarios have worked. Now, even though this appointment setter is already quite capable, there are many ways to improve it. First, this bot was tested via Vapi's dashboard, but in reality, we want to attach a real number to this AI voice bot. I'll show you how to do that in an upcoming video. Another way to improve the bot is to make the AI ask the lead what this meeting will be about, and this information should be added when the appointment is booked. Also, this bot does not handle some specific use cases. For example, what happens if we try to book something in the past? I did not try it yet. Let's see what happens if I try to do it. So right now it's the 5th of October and it's 6:30 p.m. Let's do the test. Let's try to book a meeting for the 4th of October.
Hello there, this is Sophia from the agency. How can I help you?
Hey there, Sophia. I would like to book a meeting, please.
Hold on a sec. Thank you for waiting. Here are the available time slots. October 6th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. October 7th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. October 8th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Please let me know what time works best for you.
Okay, great. I would like to book it for the 4th of October at 3 p.m., please.
Unfortunately, the slots for the 4th of October aren't available. Could you please choose a different date and time from the available slots I mentioned?
Okay, great. So we can see that it is already handled. So yeah, it's pretty cool actually. Another way to make this bot more adapted to businesses is to create a buffer time between available time slots. Also, the number one problem for businesses who rely on appointments to make revenue is no-shows. So a way to reduce no-shows will be to set automatic call reminders. And appointment setting systems can be super complex for larger businesses. Let's imagine we want to build one for a real estate agency which has 40 agents working there. And of course, each agent has his own calendar. And let's suppose one inbound number only is dedicated to appointment setting. How can we make sure the system is fair with all the agents, meaning all agents have equal opportunity to get a new appointment? We could imagine a global counter that keeps track of the latest scheduling attempt so that the next time someone calls for an appointment, it will move on to the calendar of the next agent. This is called a round-robin algorithm, by the way. Finally, something super important that is really not talked about by all the AI and automation service YouTubers, AI bot testing. If you're a business owner watching this video and an AI entrepreneur wants to sell you an AI voice system and this person does not mention anything about testing the system, this should raise a big red flag. You should be given the way the system will be tested, and ideally you would receive metrics about latency and accuracy to know exactly how your system behaves. Comment down below if you would like to know more about AI voice bot testing. Well, that was it for this video. Now you know how to build an appointment setter using Vapi. Remember that you can access all the code needed to set up the AI voice bot inside my Discord server. And if you feel stuck, you can always ask for support in the Discord or comment down below. By the way, I have set up a hyper-realistic AI voice assistant that can tell you what we do at Mira First, my AI agency. And you can test it right now by yourself by calling this number. So it's 213-933-9180. If you want more content like this, you can subscribe, give it a like, and hit the notification bell. My next video will be about an AI voice bot that pretty much any e-com business will need. If you're a business owner and you're looking for a custom solution just like this, or even something completely different, you can go ahead and book a call with me through the link in the description. Cheers, guys!